Cobblemon has been growing at a really fast pace, and in the next few weeks will come the release of the 1.5 update. The immersion and beauty the mod provides is insane, but it also makes you feel like your Pokemon are actually your friends. The 1.5 update is called Ruins and Revival, which focuses on adding structures to the world, which gives a bit more incentive and flavor to exploration. Another huge focus was fossil restoration, so you can go through the process of finding Pokemon fossils in their own unique little dig sites, be able to build a restoration machine and bring them back to life. About 130 new Pokemon have also been added, as well as some move animations to add to the visual appeal of battles. I've only scratched the surface so far. There is so much more to talk about, so make sure to watch the whole thing because you don't want to be missing out. Before I get into some of the more important stuff, I think you guys will enjoy the fact that you now have 3 new starter Pokemon to choose from when you begin your adventure, being the Hisuian starters. These 3 are special and different than your normal Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott because they have tweaks in their design that set them apart and allow them to evolve into their Hisuian variants. Also, when you send out a Pokemon, you get this cool Pokeball animation, and it differs with each kind of Pokeball. For example, a Love Ball will send out the Pokemon with a heart animation, the Dive Ball with bubbles floating out, a Dusk Ball with a dark purple cloud bursting, and the Timer Ball with a clock turning. And this just allows for so much customization that you guys will surely love. On top of that, move animations are now a thing, so when you use Flamethrower, it actually shoots out flames, which is nice to see. So far, Flamethrower is the only move that has a custom animation, but there are basic visuals for each type. For example, whenever you use a rock type move, it has a Rock Smash kind of animation for now, but in time they'll make custom visuals for each move, which is really exciting. I mean, imagine something like Brave Bird where the Pokemon swoops in on the enemy. That sounds really complicated, but who knows, maybe they'll manage to do it. So now I'm gonna move on to the exploration front, and a big part of that is actually the fossil Pokemon. So basically there are these dig sites in the wild where if you were to dig down, you can find suspicious sand or gravel. A few examples are this prehistoric mud pit that I found in the jungle, as well as this magma vent underwater. The suspicious gravel looks a little bit more dense than usual, and if you were to craft a brush, you can brush off the outer layer and find items within the gravel. The first thing I found was an energy root, but the second thing I found was a skull fossil, which is for the Pokemon Cranidos, so we can bring it back to life if we were to make the restoration machine. So the machine has 3 parts that you need to craft, which are the restoration tank, a fossil analyzer, and a data monitor. The first thing you need to do is fill the tank with biomaterial, which is basically anything natural, like leaves, apricorns, or meat, which fills the tank with fluid for the fossil to grow in. Then you can grab a fossil and throw it into the analyzer, and then the process basically starts. The data monitor just shows how much of the process is complete with a bar that slowly fills up over time, but during the growth stage you can see this tiny little cube which begins to grow over time, and eventually you get to see a small tyrant curled up and biting from time to time, which I thought was really cool. In total, it took about 12 minutes for the jaw fossil to be restored into a living, breathing tyrant, and all I had to do was right-click it with a Pokeball, and it was now a part of my team, being a level 1 Pokemon. Now coming back to structures and brushing, the other cool stuff I was able to find was a Dragon Fang, which boosts the power of Dragon type moves, some pottery shirts, which let you make some custom themed Pokemon pottery. So if you're into decorating your base and stuff, I guess that's pretty cool. There are 6 custom themed pots, which one resembles a Pokeball, the other being Pokemon like Ammonite and Ditto. The last one is meant to resemble Cleaver, which makes a lot of sense. I thought it was some kinda ugly Charizard, but anyways. While digging, I also found a piece of Tumblestone, which is used in crafting ancient Pokeballs, which are from Pokemon Legends Arceus. And just like within those games, the Pokeball have different trajectories. So for example, if I wanted to catch a Pokemon that was really far away, in the sky for example, a normal ancient Pokeball wouldn't reach it. But if I used an ancient Jet Ball, it goes twice the distance like a bullet. To get more Tumblestone, you can either keep searching in dig sites, but the easier way would be to grow your own. It can grow by itself when placed near lava or magma, and once it fully grows, you can break it for more pieces. The other set of structures are the ruins. You can find them underground or on the surface in different forms, like this one underground is an arch, and I guess the special thing about it is that the suspicious gravel that you brush off have different loot tables compared to the fossil dig sites. And these ruins are pretty similar to the Gimmighoul towers in the Gen 9 games, where at the top you can find a Gimmighoul chest. There is a chance that it opens up as a regular chest with loot inside, but on the other hand, it can actually be the Pokemon in disguise. So you can battle it, catch it, whatever you want, and along the tower you can also find these relic coins and pouches, which you can give to your Gimmighoul. There's a stat in the summary window which shows that if you feed 999 coins to a Gimmighoul, it can evolve into Goldengo. I mean, this man is made of gold, so that's pretty cool. You can also craft these gilded chests yourself and customize it with different colored apricorns, so that's always nice. Besides that, there's also a new block called the display case, which you can hold your fossils and other items to showcase to players. The next thing I want to talk about are all the new Pokemon added, and as I said before, nearly 130 Pokemon, which includes all the fossils from Tyrantrum, Cradily. Then there are some fan favorites like Tyranitar, Flygon, as well as all the Hisuian Pokemon from Goodra, Zoroark. If you want to see all the new Pokemon added, then they'll be showcased at the end of this video. Then there are also some new Pokemon that can sit on your shoulder like Squirtle, Ralts, Roggenrola, Litwick, Charcadet, Flabebe, but honestly it kinda just looks like a Psycho. Then there's also Sizzlipede, Flittle, and Scatterbug. They've gone ahead and added some new items like ability capsules and hidden ability patches to easily change your Pokemon's ability, then held items like the Air Balloon, Eviolite, Expert Belt, Focus Sash, and a lot more. There's also this small thing that other people may not have talked about, but as soon as I saw it in the changelog, I was really curious. All it said was, added bubble quirk to Krabby that only plays during clear sunsets. What came to my mind was how in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon you see Krabby blowing bubbles in the cutscene, so I wanted to test it myself. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Wild Krabby or your own can just start blowing bubbles during sunset without any command. This may not seem that important, but it just means that there's so much that can be done with this mod. The immersion just goes beyond expectations, and in the future you may see Spinarak climbing down a tree with its string, or Seviper and Zangoose fighting each other in the wild. Like, it can go anywhere. That's basically the most important stuff that's been added in this update. There's a lot more small stuff in the changelog, but you guys can give that a read yourself and explore the custom map that will introduce you to the Cobblemon world made by the devs themselves. It will be available for you guys upon the release of this update. That's all from me. Now let's see all the new Pokemon.